Jason, my name is Jonathan Casillas. I run Casillas Capital Partners. We know each other. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how we met.
Yeah. Well, let's start with how we met, right? So, yeah. First off, I guess this is episode 1, so we're kind of like forcing you into getting this little podcast started, right? So this is awesome. Congrats. Number 2, like we met on a regional Zoom inside of the Sub 2 community. So we do weekly regional Zooms depending on where you live, and you could always jump into other regions. But Jonathan and I connected, just chopping it up about some deals that people were having challenges with, and we got into like all different conversations about private money and how to structure cool deals and all the cool stuff that you've been working on and some cool stuff that I was working on, and here we are kicking off episode 1.
Yeah, we it was interesting because I'm in Virginia, and you guys are northern. You're in Jersey, I believe.
North Jersey, yeah, I'm in North Jersey.
Yeah, so it was interesting. I like you said, I jump into a couple regions in Sub 2. I'll do some West Coast stuff. I'm in the Southeast Zooms. I mean, you can get lost in Sub 2 in all the information and all the Zooms. There's like 5 or 8 Zooms a day, every day. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I remember. I mean, we just started talking about just weird stuff because we talk about everything real estate in that group, especially in the Northeast Zoom. I send a lot of people there. I try to, because it's very open, very just. What are we talking about? What problem do you have?
Very round table like. I mean, it's not just very one-sided. It's very conversational, which is fun.
Yeah, and you guys, as the leaders of it, you guys make sure everybody's heard. Like, you literally go from person to person to person. What's your problem? What's your deal? What's your wins? Like, so it's a very open, and it's intentionally open.
Makes it fun, and that's how we found each other, because some of the gems you were dropping about private money lending and the things that you're doing in your business are very relative to like what I would consider like a secondary part of our business, which is some private money lending. And, listening to some of the, I don't want to say newbies, but newer investors talk about lending money or getting into other people's deals kind of brings us to our call today, because there's a lot of pitfalls, right? There's a lot of things to know. There's a lot of do's and don'ts. And it really comes down, I think, to risk tolerance, because you can do things in a very risky manner, or you can do things in a very risk-averse manner. And I think it depends on your appetite for that.
Yeah, there's appetite and there's experience, right? Because the more experienced you are, I think, especially after you've been burned a couple times, because if you get risky, you're probably going to get bit.
Yeah, risk reward.
Yeah. So with the experience, I mean, like I said, the one thing that stood out with you specifically wasn't just the fix and flip and your transitioning, and I'll let you talk about that yourself, but also like the sales aspect and like the relationship aspect, and how we're in a relationship business, right?
Yeah.
You've got
people do business with people they like, know, and trust, right? That old saying.
Right.
It's all relationship based. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what drew me to you, was not just this is what I do, but this is why I do it, and this is how I help both sides. And it's all relationship. It's not just transactional. It's not just let me win. It's very how do we win together kind of deal.
Yep.
And it's because I showed up over and over. It wasn't like we just connected, right? It wasn't like, oh, one day, yeah, let's connect. At this point, we've talked to each other quite a few times.
Oh yeah.
And we've seen each other do business or just transact with other people or just inform other people, and you get to really know somebody, even though you're not physically in the same room.
Yeah. And speaking of being physically in the same room, like that's the other part of this. Attending meetups, right? When you're physically in the same room, the energy, we feed off each other's energy. But a little side note, right? Every time I meet people that I've really connected with on the internet, when I meet them in person, finally, they're always taller than me. I met my boy Diego out in California for the first time this past June, and I was like, I know he's taller than me. I know it. And yeah, he was like 6'2". I was 6'1". I'm like 5'8". I'm like, man, I knew you were gonna be taller than me, bro. It's so funny.
Well, I guess I'm taller than you too. We
You
haven't
got
met
bad
in
news for me
person
too.
yet, but yeah, I'm at about 5'11" and a
Yeah,
half ish.
you got bad news for me too.
Yeah, sorry, but at that point, yeah, you're just short.
It's become a norm in my life.
It just is. It just is.
So let's jump into some of the stuff you like to do in your business. Because when we were talking the other day, like really, like I'm intrigued by some of the stuff that you're structuring, how you're structuring it, the types of deals you're going after, and then I'll share like a couple, like some of my recent wins, like some cool stuff that we've been able to help people out with.
Yeah, so I guess the easiest way to put it, and just being straightforward, I've been doing this a long time, or I've been trying to do this a long time, because in the beginning you're trying and failing. But because I've been doing this a long time, about 2010-ish, 2011, when I came back from Iraq, that's how I time things. The birth of my kids and then my military service are like the major milestones. So it's
Sure.
like, have I done it before or after I did that specific thing, or they were born, or like my car accident when I got hit by a police car, which is another thing. So anyway, that's why I'm thinking out loud. So I like structure. I like the puzzle. That's what I'm good at. And I'm good at it, one, because that's how my brain works, and two, because I've done this for so long that I've seen what works and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's experience and just how my brain works. So I do financing, or I broker / consult with financing. I have an S corporation in North Carolina. Can't call yourself a broker, all that kind of stuff. But I broker financing, for lack of a better term. And what I'm good at, or what I enjoy doing, is structuring deals. Especially, and this is more of a, I don't know, puzzle thing in my head, when somebody says it can't be done.
Oh yeah.
When they're like, oh yeah, that can't be done. I'm like, all right, I don't drink, but
hold my beer.
Drink, but hold my beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just that can't happen, or he doesn't have the credit, or
yeah, all the normal can'ts come out, right? They could just pull them out of nowhere, right? Out of thin air. You can't do this. You can't do that. This is a problem. That's a problem.
And a lot of it is one, experience, right? Because some people don't know you can bring in credit partners and cash partners and PML and all that kind of stuff, and cross collateralization, and that's when you put a loan against more than one asset. Just, I don't know who's watching, so I want to make sure.
Oh yeah, well, we're gonna talk about one of those in a couple of minutes. That's one of the deals I did.
Yeah, I just don't want to techno babble, as Russell Brunson says.
Yeah,
we dump a bunch of stuff, and people are like, "What does that mean? What does that mean?"
Yeah, the vernacular is it's a whole nother language that we speak.
Yeah. So for me, it's the structure. I'm working on one. It's not solid yet. It'll probably be solid before this goes out, maybe. I'm working on one now that's kind of interesting. A sub-2 student has a piece of property that is not finished in permits, but it's almost done. It's about 90% done in permits, and he owns it free and clear. And we're able to come in with some private money, or PML, finish off the permits, and then use the private money's coming in as a private money at first, and then when the permits are done, they're going to come in as a credit partner and use their credit to go vertical, to go up, to build out.
Sure.
And so it's going to go from one piece of property to 8 lots.
Wow.
And then we're going in with PML. So the private money is going to be in first position, meaning there's no other loan. And then when the hard money lender comes in first position and takes over the private money partner now becomes a credit partner with higher ownership, and that's how they're protected versus the loan to value. Because they'll put in, let's say, 100 grand, and each lot will be worth about 240. So they're going to be way over leveraged in the right way.
Sure.
And so they're going to just build, refinance, build the next one, refinance, build the next one, refinance.
Cool. I love it.
So that's an interesting one that I'm working on. I'm working on a couple of SBAs that are bringing in fractional to raise the money, to raise the down payments required and the reserves, and then taking over or replacing the current loan with SBA and moving on that way.
So we're not just talking real estate here. We're talking private money investing into businesses, private money investing into real estate, private money investing into development, right? We're not just loaning like 20 grand to go do a fix and flip at this point. Like, we're doing some really, really cool things.
Yeah. It depends on it's what they call the capital stack, right? Yeah. So there's positions and types of lending, right? So there's private money. Sometimes it's just credit because the individual doesn't have credit. Maybe it's credit and experience, because the more experience you have, lenders, as you know,
better terms.
Being one yourself, I keep burping, so excuse me. But lenders, as you know, being one yourself, they're looking at experience as risk tolerance, right? The more experience, the less risky you look. Therefore, the money can get cheaper, the loan to value can get better, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So sometimes we bring in credit, sometimes we bring in experience. It's whatever the investor or investors, and sometimes we don't bring it. Sometimes we just let them know how they structure it, because it's not always me, right? Yeah. It could be, how do I do this? And I'm like, oh, well, I've seen it done this way, this way, this way, this way. Go find this person, that person, the other person.
And plug them in. Yep.
Yeah. And then we bring in a transaction coordinator, which is awesome. Before Sub 2, at least on the finance side, I did a lot of transaction coordination without even knowing what it was. It was just the job.
Lots of emails. Lots of
emails and phone calls and text messages and
all the things that I try to avoid. I try to avoid all those things, right?
Yeah. Now at this point, I'm just like, oh yeah, transaction coordinator. They're worth their weight in gold. Just put it as a line item and move on.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, like even with this build out, I'll probably it's looking like I'm going to be part of the PML team to bring in the PML. And I'm bringing another member of Sub 2. She'll be the transaction coordinator up front, and then she'll be the project coordinator through the whole project.
Very cool.
Because I like structure. I dislike paperwork.
Yeah.
I mean, even we're recording on Google Meet now, and I use this for regular phone calls when I can, just so I can get the notes transcribed.
Sure.
And pulled out. And then put in my CRM, because I hate paperwork that much. Like, I'll do it, I just rather not.
Yeah, if you don't need it, you can avoid it. So what would you say? I want to share a creative deal in a minute, but what would you say to someone who's watching this and they're thinking about loaning money for the first time?
My first thing is, right off the bat, I would say get a transaction coordinator that is experienced in money lending and PML in this case. Because if it's your first time, you want to bring somebody in that is on your side and that is going to protect you and that has seen this before.
Sure.
Right. That's my first thing. The second thing I would say would be very clear about your risk tolerance and what a lot of people call your buy box. What will you do and what won't you do? And put every deal against that. Because when you say you have private money, especially private money, but when you say you have money in general, you will get all kinds of opportunities. And if you don't know what you want and what you don't want, you might jump in to an opportunity that you really didn't want, but the return's good, or that you trust the person. I trust a lot of people, but even my cousin Joel, who's the reason I'm in Virginia, but even with me and him, we've been working together since I was 17. It's always written out. It's
Sure.
always contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in his house. His mom's like my mom. Like, she's the one aunt that to this day, I call her, I call him, I call my parents go to see her. I went to see her 2 days ago and I talked to him. I was like, hey, say hi to Titi Vicky. Like, we live together basically every weekend. And it's still contracts. It's still write-ups.
Sure.
It's still making sure. And a lot of the time people trust people to the point where they don't make their intentions and their timelines known. And a transaction coordinator or somebody like that will make sure that's in writing.
Yep. And I would even go a step further than the TC is awesome to coordinate, but like I'm very adamant about having title companies and attorneys draft the notes and the language and then work through the TCs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying the TC is the end all be all. I'm just saying they've seen it done before.
Yeah.
So at the very least, they can go, this is how it's normally done. And a good TC will do exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
They'll go, here's the attorney that works in that state. Here's
That's right.
the title company I've done work before.
Plug them right in. So it's like seamless.
Yeah, it's not, they're not attorneys, right? And they're not title companies. You always want to go through title, for sure. Like, it's one of the things for me, as a broker, I get paid on title. I want everybody knowing what everything's happening.
You're going right on the HUD. That's it.
I'm not doing the side deal stuff. I'm not. Everything's on title so that everybody knows what everybody's at.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, absolutely. Maybe I should have made that clearer, but absolutely, TCs are not lawyers.
No, you did a fine job. No, I just wanted to add to the TC because if it's a newer lender, they're like, oh, TC, and I'm like, yeah, TC is awesome to coordinate because they're going to understand the paperwork in some cases better than the attorneys or the type of paperwork, right? But then we have the attorney to put their legal stamp on it and say that this is compliant, you're protected, this is the terms and conditions, everyone's satisfied, and then we move money around.
Yeah, it's always protect yourself and bring in the expert.
That's right.
Right? Bring in and for the love of God, spend the money.
Yes.
Because it's money well spent. And if you're, especially for contracts, if you're working in the same area in the same state, they become, for lack of a better term, cookie cutter.
That's right.
Once you have the contract and you're doing the same type of deal, the percentages might change. The address changes.
It's easy to plug in now.
But the contract is solid.
Yeah.
Which is, so spend the money now. If you're going to do this, do it correctly. Protect yourself. Make sure you bring in the experts and just make sure your buy box or your lend box, whatever you want to call it, is solid. Because you will get overwhelmed with opportunities, good and bad.
That's right.
And if you chase the shiny object, it will burn you.
Couldn't agree more. So we did a cool transaction. So like we were talking about how it's this type of business, it can be utilized almost anywhere. So I had a good friend of mine down in Cape May, who was Cape May, New Jersey. He was buying his primary residence, and he had been after this property for 3 years. It was a foreclosure lead. He was working with the seller, couldn't work a contract out. Property got taken back by the bank. Bank listed the property. He couldn't get it through the listing for the right price. Ultimately, it ended up on auction.com. He wound up getting it under contract. This is 3 years later. And he's like, I want this to be my primary residence, my family house. So he called me up and he's like, what do you think? I was like, well, can you change the terms of your purchase to a traditional mortgage, use an owner-occupant style loan? Because he had the credit, they had all the income required to buy it, right, to qualify. So they did just that. And they were about, I want to say like 11 days from closing. Something came up, hit one of, him and his wife, hit their credit. Something was on their credit that triggered like an issue with underwriting. They were still qualified for the loan, but they needed to bring more money down. So he didn't have the money because he didn't sell his current primary off, right? So he had tons of equity in his current primary, but he was cash strapped a little bit, right? So he went around to friends and family, and he needed like $100,000, right? It was a pretty substantial purchase. So he came to me and he's like, "Hey, would you be able to loan $100,000 for about 60 days?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I can. We got to figure out how to structure it so it doesn't affect your underwriting, because if underwriting sees $100,000 just show up out of thin air, red flag, right? We're gonna be 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of more underwriting." And he really only had 11 days, right? Auction.com, whatever was occurring was solid. Like, you can't change the state. There's no postponements. So he had a bunch of properties that he bought sub 2, and they were held in a trust and properly structured entity. And in conversation with our mortgage broker, or with his mortgage broker, I said, is them, because we were all on a 3-way call, I said, is him buying this property, him and his wife buying this property, based on any of the income from these properties? And they said, no. So interesting. What if we wire money into one of his entities, and then he transferred that money over to his personal checking? Would that trigger any flags from the underwriting? Well, he looked into it and he found out that underwriting never even inquired about these properties, about these LLCs, about anything reported from those accounts. So the underwriting said, yeah, if he can refinance some equity out of one of those businesses, or because it's held in an LLC, they view it as a business, he could then bring the money over, and the chain of events where the money came from, all the sources check out, they're good. So I have a self-directed account. We basically cross-collateralized. He gave me 20% of the holdings, 3 properties, and he was able to move $100,000 from his entity over to his personal checking, and he closed on the house. And then he sold his primary about 60 days later, and then he repaid me back with a return. So we were able to even get someone into a traditional product by using private money.
Yeah, by using private money and cross collateralization.
Yeah,
to protect yourself.
That's right.
Yeah, and you're talking about a 60-day return, so that's even if it's a smaller return, and not asking, but even if it's a smaller return on an annual basis, it's
10. Listen, it was 10 points, right? It's 10% in 60 days.
That's significant,
right? People are, cheering at the end of the 365-day year if they made 10% in the S&P, right? Like, you made 10% in 60 days.
Yeah, right. So if you compound that annually, that can be
incredibly powerful.
Yeah, that can be. It helps, right? And just to point out something you pointed out, but I'm going to point it out in this story. You brought in the RMLO, the residential mortgage officer. Hey, we're looking to do this. We want to make sure that your deal doesn't get burned by it. Can we do this? He goes back and does what he has to do, comes back and goes, yeah, you can do this in this manner.
Yeah. And he loved it. He was like, this is so creative. Like, how did you guys figure out how to do this? So like, we were just having a conversation like, all right, what if we did this? What if we did that? What about this? What about that factor? And just looking, and it's the benefit of having a little portfolio that he had where he was able to, position himself to do that.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that portfolio, I mean, like, what would you have done? You have nothing to collateralize the loan against.
Right. And if you collateralize against one of the houses he lives in, then it goes into the Dodd-Frank Act, and that's a whole nother
problem.
That's a whole nother mess.
Yeah.
Which
is awesome that you mentioned that, because we did just that this past summer, right? There was an estate that was facing a tax sale in New Jersey. And in New Jersey, there's a law that states if a property is in foreclosure through tax foreclosure, property tax foreclosure, you have to get permission from the plaintiff to pay the tax lien off. You can't just go down to the local municipality and say, hey, I'm here to pay my tax lien. They won't take your money because of how late into the foreclosure the process is. There's like a statute of limitation there on the owner of the property. So this process,
which is nuts. by the way.
It's crazy when you think, and the law has the intentions of essentially blocking wholesalers from scraping up equity or buying properties pennies to the dollar. That's what the law was intended to block. What it actually did is it created a bottleneck in which it takes 4 or 5 months for some of these plaintiffs to respond, and you have compounding interest negatively against the property every day that the taxes are unpaid. This person's forfeiting equity. So what started out as a $43,000 tax bill ended up as a $54,000 and change in a matter of 4 months. So they lost 11 grand in equity in 4 months because of this law. So what we did was we structured we got permission. My entity got permission to make the payment. So we secured my $54,000 loan in first position against the property. That gave us clear title because we had a contract to sell the property. So it was a wholesale deal. It was an LLC buyout. So there was a wholesaler under contract, and he was executing an LLC buyout to an end buyer investor. So we had all the deposits in, all the contracts written up. We just needed permission to pay the tax lien. So we loaned money to the estate, secured in the first position. And to your point, the Dodd-Frank and all the things that are required, like we had a 10-year balloon on that loan. Like if this deal fell apart, my money could be locked up in this property for 10 years, realistically. So the reason I took the risk, again, the risk reward is number one, the return was amazing. But number two, we knew we had the end buyer secured with EMD. Everything was there, right? The money was there. So the loan really was only for 5 days. Money out, 5 days later, the money hit our account with our return. And we made 30 grand. We took a chunk of the LLC buyout. Huge one.
Structure.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the fun part for me. Structure is the fun part. I mean, everybody has their avatar, as they call it. And for me, it's connecting and strategy.
Yeah. And for a return, your money is only at risk for 5 days to have that sort of return. Now, again, I weigh the risk reward. How am I secured? What does all the logistics of the deal look like? I was pretty confident, like, yeah, these people want this property. It's in a great part of New Jersey. I'm like, it's very unlikely that they won't buy it. And even to the point where, like, there are people that I knew in my network that would 100% take this property, no questions asked. So, we know our market.
Yeah, that's to go back to your question before, if somebody was doing PML, if possible, I would do it in your market. I would do it in a market you can touch. Just to go back to that, I would start in your circle. I would start in your area, something you can hold and touch, and don't have to fly across the country to see.
Yes.
That what they say they're doing, they're doing.
Yes, and it's unnerving, right? I've done out of state stuff that we would never drive to or go to, right? And like when I'm getting information on the attorneys or the title companies or this or that, like I'm physically going on Google, like, hey, is this actually a real business? Right? Does this title company exist? Do they have a brick and mortar location that I could just go to and visit? Same thing with the attorney. Is this a real attorney? Like if I verify it. Like these are businesses that I'm going to end up wiring money to. I want to make sure that they're actually real businesses and they're going to do the things they say they do. And there's telltale signs that you can verify if it is or isn't a real thing. And if anything doesn't check out, you just say, hey, this probably isn't a deal for me. Or you go, listen, I don't know if this is the title company I would use. Let me bring in one of the ones that I would use and let them vet everything out.
Yeah, I mean, there's simple things like going into the USPS website and seeing if it's a mail house.
Yes.
Because if you put the address in, it'll say mail house or non-mail house, office. It'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even at getting paid on the HUD through title, when I haven't used the title company and I don't know it's Kim or Jenny or whoever, somebody will call me and they'll call me to verify a bank account.
Yeah.
And I'll hang up on them, not rudely. Hey, let me call you back. And I'll hang up and I'll do a Google search on their phone number. And then I'll call the phone number and then I'll ask to talk to the person. Like, that's a normal day of business. That making sure everything. And that's at getting paid. That's after everything. And the amount of times I've talked to a title agent and they laugh when they pick up the phone the second time. They're like, that's smart. that's
Yeah,
that's the way.
you're wiring money out, right? Like it's a big deal.
Yeah, right. So the amount of times it's done is just, and that's after talking. That's after emails. That's after
Yeah.
everything is done. That is it has funded. I'm getting paid. They're double checking bank accounts, and at that point, hold on a second. Let me call you back. Click, call them back through the Google Voice, or not Google Voice, but the Google search.
Yeah. And I want them to text me their title, their wiring instructions. Text me text me. I don't send it to my email. Send it to a text message, because it's a lot harder to hack a text message than it is to hack an email.
The emails, the phishing, and all that.
Like we can do this all day, and I look at it and I'm like, sometimes I'm actually more nervous about the wire itself going to the right place than I am about the deal, because of the amount of fraud that's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, I mean, I like Relay, but it's one of the reasons one of my bank accounts is Wood Forest.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just, there's a physical bank.
Yes.
Love Relay. Love the bank, but just the physical. There's something to me about the physical walk-in of a bank still. Maybe it's showing my age, but still.
It might be.
Yeah,
this is good stuff. I think this will help a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean it's very yeah. I mean, yeah. It's helping me just thinking through it all, because I just do it.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of steps.
Yeah, I just do it. It's not even. I'm sure you're the same with your fix and flips and your stuff. It just gets done. You don't even really think about, what do I do? What's the deal? There's an SOP without maybe having an SOP, a standard operating procedure.
Yeah. It's second nature. Becomes second nature.
Yeah.
How do you train people to do stuff? So what's second nature to you is again, you figure that out. You have a serious operation, that you can pass on to people.
So I know a little bit about your transition. Let's talk a little bit about that. What do you're in fix and flip, and you were buying and holding a single family, and you're looking to move over.
So the idea was buy a bunch of rentals, replace my income, quit my job, right?
Right.
So many of
like
us.
Most people.
I guess that's like the party line, right? Like I bought into that mantra for a while. Wasn't acquiring rentals fast enough. We were writing offers. We just weren't acquiring rentals fast enough. Tired of my day job, right, as an electrician for 22 years. And I'm like, all right, well, what if I replace my active income with active income? Just making active income, or get my active income from a different source, right? So then it becomes a question of, well, how am I making a living, right? I'm making a living turning tools and working physically in the field. It doesn't speak to me anymore. So I decided, well, I'm going to make active income from real estate. So in pivoting to that, I've decided I'm just going to I'm going to liquidate my rentals, stabilize my personal residence, which was under construction, get all of my finances, all of my books, everything dialed in check, so that I can go out and leverage money and leverage credit and start acquiring projects, creating or recreating my income that I was accustomed to by buying and selling real estate. In doing that, by default, we're going to hold properties, right? It's just, there's going to be one or two that make sense to just refi out and keep. We're going to come across creative deals that we're able to raise capital to come in, take down, again, then maybe trade them into other properties, larger commercial assets in the future. That's where we see this all going for us. We're going to continue the fix and flip. We have, a target of 6 to 10 fix and flips in 2026 is the goal. In North Jersey, I mean, that could be a sizable, return in terms of active income. This is an expensive market. There's a lot of equity here. Getting beyond that, holding commercial assets, right? We're looking at light industrial potentially. Tired of the residential stuff, at least the small residential stuff. I don't think I would turn down a small multi-unit, like a 12-unit or 14-unit or 16-unit. But I definitely don't want to hold the 2s, the 3s, the 4s. the ones for any longer than maybe I need to in order to trade up into a different type of asset.
So it's interesting to see the transition, right, for you, where
Yeah.
you thought something, you tried it, you did it well, and at this point you're going, I did it well, but I need to move to another thing. It's not calling, it's not speaking to you, right?
Wasn't serving us. No, we had 5 units, right? We got the 5 units, and I'm like, I'm out of money. Like, we're using our own money. I'm out of money. Like, this is like, now what? Now what do we do?
Money's always the problem. I mean, if you're good at what you do, money's always the problem.
Yeah.
Right. It's how fast can I grow? Who do I grow with? What's the team? Got the team. Cool. How fast can I do this?
That's right.
For me, I did some handyman work. I worked for some GCs. Still friends with them in New York. When you said expensive, I'm from Long Island. So
Yeah,
yes.
Same thing, right?
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's bigger checks, but it's also bigger headaches and a bigger tax liability. For me, I don't think I'm going to go back to fix and flip. I think I'm just going to do builds. I've seen this cycle.
I mean, essentially, that's the evolution of it, right? Like what you're doing.
That's exactly where I was headed.
Yeah.
I've seen the cycle over and over and over. You know, fix and flipper or wholesaler turns into fix and flipper buy and holds and does forced appreciation because they figure out this is a big tax burden from all my active income.
Mm-hmm.
Even with a fix and flip, and not to push anybody away from fix and flip, but even with a fix and flip that you buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, even with that, you're buying somebody else's problem, and your capital expenditures are pretty much day one, if not a year or two out.
Yeah, it's not a new build. Listen, we're in like you said, Long Island, New Jersey. These are 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. 1960s is like a new make and model, right? Around here, right? Realistically, like, so yeah, you build new, like you're saying, you build new. How long till you have to put money into it, would you say?
Right. Your CapEx expenditures are 4 or 5 years out, and that's your water heater, your roofer, 20, 30-year roofs.
Yeah.
The other thing is even new builds, working for GCs and doing that GC work, just because it's new doesn't mean it's built well.
Agreed.
I've seen a lot of new builds in my time that I'm like, even 4, 5, 10 years, we used to do a lot of like James Hardy and windows. And when you rip the siding off and you notice like the windows aren't sealed with tape, or you're missing a bunch of just insulation, it's just, so I want to go from build to hold again for the tax advantages, and so that I can build to suit. So because I want to do residential assisted living, and for residential assisted living, you need wider hallways, bigger bathrooms, and I can convert, but it's still somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point being that I've seen this transition happen. I've gone through some of this transition, and at this point, I don't know if I want to go back. I think I just want to build.
I don't know if I would blame you, right? Like, yeah, it's fun fixing these junkers. Like, I mean, I call them junkers. They're really not junkers, but like, I do quick turns. That's my goal. Like, I want, like this one we're doing right now is a 5-week turn. 5 weeks, new kitchen, new bathroom, refinish everything, fix some of the issues, I call it deferred maintenance, right? We're not going to fix everything. We're not building brand new, but we are bringing a solid home that's mortgageable to someone that's going to come in and say, all right, this might be my first home. I'm going to live here 5 to 7 years before I move on. And, you got new air conditioning, new furnace, right? They're not going to have issues or any like major capital expenditures potentially for that time period. And there's a market for that, right? There's just a low supply of those homes. So we try to stay in that line. I agree though, like building brand new and holding, like there's an attraction to that, right? There is something nice about like, hey, I got a brand new piece of property. We'll see. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe we do a couple of those in the mix too.
Yeah, it's just for me. It's a CapEx expenditure, like you were saying, right? So I have 4 or 5 years to save up more money. So maybe if something happens somewhere else, I have more liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
2, I know what I'm building or what my builder's building because I won't be building it. But I know what I'm building. I know what quality I'm building. I know the bones of the house. I know how it's done. So even if there is problems, I'm pretty solidified in what problems they're going to be, right? And then the other side is because of residential assisted living with the silver tsunami and all that, it's pretty cash flow. It's good cash flow.
Yeah.
And because as long as I stay within the parameters of the loan, or I'm okay with keeping some of my money in there, then I can build better than normal, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm keeping that.
But yeah, that's the thing. Everyone wants to get 100% of their money out, and that is the goal. But it is. I mean, it is kind of normal to leave a little bit of money into real estate.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
It's not out. It's probably not having any money in the deal is the exception to the norm, right?
Especially with the cost going up, and they're going to continue to go up, right? Whether it's supply chain issues like COVID, or it's most of the people doing the trades are in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
Right. Most of those owners, at the very least, are in their 50s and 60s. And with the silver tsunami, you've already got 500,000 jobs in the trades not being filled.
Correct. It's a major problem.
It's a huge problem.
It really is.
So anyway, my point being that I can build a little better. I can be okay with keeping my cash in the deal because I'm not selling it at a loss, with the cash flow being higher than normal long-term rentals.
Sure.
I'll make it back.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's the deal for me. And it's interesting talking to somebody else who's done this for a while. And like I saw your Facebook post where you were on a roof or something, like you were bent over, and then the picture right next to it was you signing paperwork. I was like, that's a cool image of a transition there.
That wasn't a roof. That was the top of a transmission tower, 200 feet in the air.
Either way, outside breaking your back to signing paperwork.
That's right.
It's a good transition.
7 years. I took that picture 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was interesting to see. It was interesting to see.
It's been a wild ride. And that both those pictures were like almost to the date, to the exact date, which is incredible too.
That's it. Yeah, that's sometimes like I have a new LLC in Virginia, all that. So I was looking a couple weeks ago and transitioning clients over to the new LLC and that kind of stuff. And I was just looking at all the HUDs, and I'm like, my God, it's been a long time doing this. It's interesting.
It's awesome.
I was looking back at the time, and again, I wasn't 200 feet in the air. Well, not on that one. But it's being tied onto like a scissor lift, and you're on the side of a school.
Oh yeah.
And 15 years later, I'm moving digital paper.
That's right.
Like it's not even, for the most part, it's not even physical paper.
Yeah. And at some point back then, you look at it, you're like, how am I gonna get the job done? How am I gonna get to that point, right? And here we are. It's pretty amazing.
It is, and it's interesting. For me, it's interesting the people that you meet and the relationships you grow into.
Yeah.
Because like even a year ago, I was doing the brokering and stuff, but I'm new to Sub 2, and I'm going to the local meetup. Actually, the local meetup came to the bar, like Joel's bar. And I can talk financing, but a year ago, Sub 2? What? Wait, what? Like all that. I was the new guy. Like I'm still the new guy because I still haven't done a Sub 2 personally, but at least I understand it. It's you're part of the community now. But in the beginning, you go from knowing nothing to knowing what you're doing to going into a new room and going back to knowing nothing.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's interesting. Yeah,
The next evolution would be to go to like a note investing place, right? Like looking at that stuff, right? Like that's like same thing, going from knowing a whole bunch of cool stuff to like, wow, I didn't know all this stuff existed.
I've actually done not done, but I have actually been in a couple of those rooms because of the brokering.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother field.
That's right. That's what you do when you have money.
Yeah, and you want to really move the money faster. Yeah, buy and sell notes at discounts, and
it's awesome
become a different part of the capital stack. Yeah.
What do you see yourself going next? What's the next steps for you?
Well, I had the heart surgery, as you know. So hopefully, I'm a veteran, so the VA, hurry up and wait is their motto, and if it's not, it should be. After that, I think I'm gonna. I used to do wholesaling, which is not something we talked about, but I did wholesaling. My broker clients, my consulting clients, whatever you want to call them, hard money and fix it flip. My flippers came to me about 3 years ago, something like that. Because unfortunately, most wholesalers don't know the numbers.
Yeah.
And they suck. And so they came to me because I already know their financing, and they kind of forced me, not really, but after like 5 or 10 of your top VIP buyer clients ask you to do something, you oblige. So I think I see myself reopening the wholesale company, which I'm already working on the back end with the CRMs and stuff. But I'm going to go to land instead of houses.
Yeah, but your numbers aren't going to suck. Your numbers won't suck. Your numbers will be good.
No, no. I'm quite good at the number side, the finance side of it, and which is why they came to me. They're like, you strategize, you structure all our deals. Just add this to the deal.
Yeah.
And so we joked about it, how I give obviously discounts. Some of these guys are doing 3 or 5 flips a month. I mean, they are burning, they're churning, and that's 10 months out of the year.
Wow.
So there's a couple of them. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'll give you a discount here, but I'm going to make money on this side. And they're like, yeah, we don't care as long as our numbers work. We don't care, which is another conversation. Buyers, which you've pointed out on the calls a couple times. The right buyers don't care what you make, as long as their numbers work. It's go time. Yeah. Anyway,
the hard money lenders are the ones that balk at the large assignments, and you just got to look at how to structure things, right? Maybe we don't do an assignment. Maybe we do an LLC buyout, right? Maybe we, structure something else creatively on the assignment side. Maybe we have to double close, right?
Right. That's normally how it happens. Is you double close, you bring in a transactional lender, and you move on. But to ask you,
buyout, we could save tons of fees, right? I mean,
yes,
right. That's the people forget about that. Like when I go under contract these days, I put my personal name, LLC, to be formed. That's it. I have the option, and an LLC buyout is just a member change. You're swapping members.
Yes, yeah. So, it's quite easy.
Yes.
But to answer your direct question, I'm gonna wholesale again, but this time because I want to buy and hold.
Yeah.
And I want to build, I'm gonna go to land.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna wholesale land to lead generate for myself, to build out, for the most part, or at least for a good portion of it, to hold. So
awesome.
Land to build to residential or co-living, because they're a similar property. The way the bathrooms are built in and that kind of stuff into the rooms, and the square footage and stuff. So it'll be co-living, residential, assisted living build outs.
Very cool.
Yeah. What about you? You want to get into
more volume, more fix and flip volume?
Are you expanding out of Jersey?
No, all North Jersey. I'll do some of the Jersey, like Philly suburbs in Jersey. But yeah, well, primarily North Jersey. That's going to be the focus. There's, again, right in my backyard, there is literally tons of opportunities every day of the week. I don't need to go too far. I have contractors, I have funding, I have partners, I have vendors here for material. The equity's here, right? There's tons of equity here, right? There's no reason to jump around.
Yeah, yeah, I have the same thing. I am looking at maybe going to Alabama as a partner on some stuff with another sub 2 student. But for the most part, I'm in Virginia, but my market's North Carolina.
Very cool.
I'm in a couple wholesale masterminds other than sub 2, so I can do business somewhere else. But my buyers are in North Carolina. My contractors are in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like everything's right there in the mostly Raleigh area.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes
And I
time
live
to build a team.
Say again?
It takes time to build a team.
Yeah, and to build the right team. Yes, you can build a team pretty quickly, but to build the right team and to go through the steps of vetting contractors and that kind of stuff. Again, I kind of say that I kind of cheated because the contractors are my buyers who are used to be my clients and are still my clients.
It's all right. One of my contractors is a private money lender. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to have like a twofer, right? Like it's totally legit.
Yeah. No, it's just some people. A lot of people are like, "How would you do this?" And I'm like, "I can tell you how I would do this, but how I did do this, not exactly the same."
Yeah. Everyone's going to come from a different path.
Yeah. So I like it because, like, for the GCs who are my buyers, who are also my clients, I've walked hundreds of their homes, like in the last couple of years. So I know exactly how they build.
That's awesome.
I know exactly what their standard is. So for me, North Carolina's home. Even if I move to another state, North Carolina's it. I know exactly what I'm getting into. And I've lived there off and on for about 12 years.
Awesome.
So
I funded
know the
a
market
land
well.
deal. I funded a land deal in Henderson.
I like Henderson. That's
in the
close to the
Raleigh-Durham
border. Yeah,
area.
I have a land deal I'm working on right now. Numbers are a little off, but it's a lot that will have the space for 11 townhouses in Wilson, North Carolina, which is where I used to live.
Awesome.
So that's the deal I'm working on. That's kind of still new, but I'm hoping to grab that one.
Cool.
That'll be an interesting build.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, if I grab it. I mean, the numbers are kind of tight, but we'll see. The one that I'm pretty solid on is the 4 duplexes. That's an interesting one. I'll talk real quick about. Normally, a duplex is built on one piece of land, right? So you attach one loan to one piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
This duplex, each side of the duplex. Now, each side is going to be about 6,000 square feet. These things are huge.
That's a big house.
Yeah, but each side is about 6,000 square feet.
Wow.
So each side's going to be on its own lot. So even though it's 4 duplexes, because each side's on its own lot, it'll be 8 build-outs, loan-wise. So it's an interesting one. I've seen it done. I've helped finance a few, not always. It's not normally that way. But to be part of this one, it's going to be something to. I'll be going and doing some content on it as long as it closes, and
I hope so.
People will see the transition through the build out. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I love connecting. One thing you didn't point out is your OC.
Yes, I am Owners Club. I am Owners Club.
So talk about. I mean, I do have to go in a couple minutes to pick up my daughter, but talk about that real quick. Like, let people know there's levels to this.
Yes, it's an amazing room. Some big fish in that room, right? There's some and you know what it is? It's like anything you want to know how to do, someone in that room knows how to do it, right? Like it just demystifies so many parts of the business. And that room is incredible because of the personas that are there, the value they bring, the just they're cheering you on. Everyone's cheering you on to go out and do better. Very, very strong mindset in that room of like giving more. It's been an awesome experience. My first couple of experiences, like going into events and things like that, I always thought it was like, oh, what's the market doing? Where's the market going? How do you do more? How do you flip more? This or that. It's like the complete opposite of that. It's how do you get your mind and your body right? How do you get yourself in a position where you can help others do more deals, right? It's like totally different from what I expected it, from where I came from in the early years. It's been awesome. It's been a lot. The events are a lot of fun.
That's not really that surprising to me. I will eventually be in that room, so we'll leave that one there. But
pace over delivers, bro. But
he over delivers generally.
Yeah,
right.
It's different. It's different in that room because it's definitely more personable in that respect. The guests, the people that spend time with us that he brings in, it's crazy, right? Like Tim Story, for example. If you're familiar with Tim Story, like in Monterey, Tim Story was hanging out in the lobby with people from OC. It was great. He was just hanging out for like an hour or two, just chopping it up with people. It's crazy, and he does he spends one Sunday a month with OC right now, and communicating with everyone, helping everyone overcome things. It's incredible.
Yeah. I have a goal to be part of that room.
2026
rather than later.
2026 open. Yeah. Enrollment opens at Squad Up. So
yeah, that's another thing. I mean, that's something else I'm looking to get my ticket on is Squad Up. My question, the only question I have is not going. It's my health after the surgery.
Sure.
So I'm not sure. They're saying it should be a certain amount of time, but it might take longer. So that's the only thing. But I bring up Owners Club because Pace does a very good job of fostering a helping hand kind of community. I mean, it's 18,000 people. And of course, there's the knuckleheads, with a group that big. But as a general rule, there's a lot more give than you meet in other groups, right? So it's very much, even within Sub 2 and not Owners Club, it's very much, what can I help? Who can we help? What do you need to know? Who do you need to know? Like, I try to do that within that group as well. But the amount of, even with the experience I have in financing, the amount of other people coming in and going, yeah, but do you know about this? Do you know about this? Here's all the paperwork. Here's all the stuff. Here's this. Here's that. Talk to this person. Talk to that person. It's not trying to make a sales pitch for Sub 2, but
it's the culture. The culture here is just that.
Yeah, it's a culture, and it's a culture of it's social pressure in the positive way.
Yes.
Right.
The pressure is to do better and be better.
Yeah. Instead of you're never going to do that, or you're dreaming, or that's not how it happens, or that's a scam, right? Yes. It's no. Jerry over here, Sean over here, right? Like I did that 2 days ago. I met a new person. I love connecting with new people. I met a new person, and he goes, "Oh, I'm looking for reps. I'm looking for TC. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that." And I'm like, "Oh, that's all in Sub 2. Hold on." So Sean over here in Washington State, Sean Rice, shout out to Sean, bird dogger. He's new, but he's a go-getter. He's a bird dogger. He's connected with Owners Club for RV parks. Talk to him. Oh, you need a TC? Here, Emma Duncan. There's a TC. And it's just boom, 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 boom. In 5 minutes, not even. Meet you, Emma. Meet this guy. Sean, meet this guy. Jacob, meet this guy. bang, 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 bang. It just, if you want to do it in real estate, there's somebody in sub 2 or owners club already doing it.
That's right.
They're already, and not only are they already doing it, it might take them a couple of days, especially for owners club members because they're churning, but they will get back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. I love
So
it.
it's
I'm so happy to be a part of it.
yeah, it's amazing. I talked to my 22-year-old. I have 4 daughters, and I was talking to my 22-year-old about sub 2 last week, and she was like, "You paid how much?" And I was like, "All right, this is what this is what it cost." And she was like, and after like 20, 30 minutes, she's like, "How do I get in there? Wait, how do I learn that?" And I'm like, "Hey, if you're serious, let me know in December. I'll have some cash in December. We'll bring you in. Let's do this.
Bring her in as a partner on the business."
Yeah, let's do this. Well, I want she graduates as a teacher in December.
Yeah.
So that's why December. I want her to focus on her school and finish out her hours and stuff.
It's great.
So I'm like, yeah, hey, if you're serious, let's get her done.
That's it. She's not teaching anymore. She's done. That's it.
She's always liked teaching. She's always liked English. I think, not putting her business out there, but I think she's got a girlfriend who's Taylor, who's awesome. I think that they tag team it, honestly. She still teach. She do the thing what a lot of people are doing, right? Where one of the spouses is the real estate investor, the other one does the job. You get the IRS designation.
Mm-hmm.
You put it against the money that you're bringing in normally, and now you have a tax liability of 0.
Yeah.
So we talked about that, and she was like, "Oh, wait, that's possible? Yeah, let's do that."
Yeah. That's it. You planted the seed.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool, but that's the best part about this is the community, what you know, and like you were saying, even within OC, there's levels, but it's not, and I can't stress this enough. It's not, I can't do this. It's how do I do this, and who do I know, or who do I know that knows?
Yep. It's the who, not the how.
Yeah, it's a lot of this. A lot of these statements are old and they're kind of worn out, but it's still the truth, right? It is the who, good or bad. It's the who.
Yes, always.
It's always the relationship. So I do have to step out in about 5 minutes. So let's.
This has been awesome.
How do people connect with you?
Well, follow me on my Instagram. It's the Jason Staine. We'll have a link. We'll leave a little link with, like a connection to my my socials and my digital card. And that's it. Just shoot me a DM.
All right. And what are you looking for right now? If somebody's bringing
deals,
you what you're looking for,
deals and money, deals in North Jersey, and private money to fund those deals.
Private money. Cool.
That's it.
So you could always hit my QR code on my background, but besides that, you can search me on Jonathan Casillas on Facebook. You'll see this pretty face. And I have a LinkedIn. Casillas Capital is my company LinkedIn. Casillas Capital Partners on Instagram. And I'm looking to help more people with strategy and placing private money, as well as getting money, access to capital, whether it's DSCR, hard money for fix and flips, bridges, SBA, pretty much cover the gamut.
Awesome.
All right. So that'll be that. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for the great conversation, and we'll put this up as soon as possible.
It's a wrap, episode 1.